You have been rehearsing what you would say if you called. The name is still there on the screen, unchanged. There is a number she has not called in 4 months. It has not been deleted. It has not been blocked. It sits in the phone the way certain things sit in a house after someone has left, not forgotten, not removed, just not touched. She knows what would happen if she called, not exactly, but enough. Enough to know that whatever she would hear, she is not ready to hear it. And so she does not call. She tells herself this is wisdom. She tells herself she is waiting for the right moment, for more clarity, for something to shift. But the months pass the way months pass when you are managing something carefully, quickly, without much to show for it. The phone is on the table, screen facing up. The jacket is on the chair back, worn but not hung. The kind of coat that says, I haven't decided yet whether I'm staying. The photo frame is face down on the shelf, has been for a while. Long enough that she no longer notices it as a choice. It is simply how that shelf looks now. These are the objects of a life that is managing itself. Nothing broken. Nothing resolved. Everything carefully held at the distance that makes it bearable. The word is refusal. Not rejection, not avoidance, not fear, though fear is present. Refusal is a specific act. It requires something to be offered. It requires a moment in which the offer is recognized. And then, and this is the thing, it requires a decision, not a passive forgetting, not an accidental overlooking. A decision, not this, not now, not yet. Refusal has dignity in it. It can be a complete sentence, and that is precisely what makes it dangerous over time, because it feels principled. It feels like discernment. It is only later, much later, that you begin to notice what has quietly atrophied while you were practicing it. She is at her desk on a Tuesday afternoon when she opens the contact by accident. She does not know why she opened it. She was reaching for something else. Another name, another message, and her thumb found this one instead. She stares at it for a moment longer than she intends to. There is the name. There is the number. There is the small green button that would make it ring. She closes the app, then opens it again, starts typing a number, not that number, a different one, and notices her hands have gone still. 3 digits in, the cursor blinking. She sets the phone down, screen up, and goes to make tea she will not finish. The word refusal comes from the Old French refuser, to melt back, to pour back, to return a thing before it enters. At its root is the Latin fundere, to pour, to cast, to flow. To refuse at the etymological level is not to block. It is to reverse the direction of flow. Something is moving toward you, light, sound, a word, a call, and the act of refusal turns it back before it lands. What is interesting is the physics of this. You cannot refuse without first receiving enough of the thing to know what it is. The recognition precedes the refusal. You have already partially heard the word before you stop your ear. You have already seen the edge of the light before you cover your eyes. The refusal, then, is not ignorance. It is the deliberate undoing of a reception that has already, in some partial way, begun. She knows what she would hear if she called. That knowing, that partial, unbearable knowing, is the thing she has been refusing for 4 months. Here is what refusal does to the one who practices it. In the short term, it works. The thing you are not receiving cannot reach you. The distance holds. You go about your day. You manage. You function. The coat stays on the chair because you have not decided, and not deciding has its own strange comfort. It keeps the option open while requiring nothing of you. But refusal is not a stable state. It is a practice. And like all practices, the more you perform it, the more natural it becomes, the more automatic. The muscle that you use to turn something away grows stronger with each use. And the faculty that would have received the thing, that capacity for openness, for hearing what you do not want to hear, for seeing what you are not ready to see, begins very quietly to weaken. This is not punishment. It is not judgment. It is simply what happens to any faculty that is systematically not used. The photo frame does not get harder to look at. You just stop noticing that you never look at it. The paradox is this: you began refusing in order to protect something. Maybe it was your stability. Maybe it was a version of yourself that still felt functional. Maybe it was simply the ability to get through the week without being undone by a single conversation. The refusal felt necessary. It may have been necessary. But the protection and the diminishment are the same gesture. You cannot strengthen the muscle of turning away without simultaneously weakening the muscle of receiving. They are not separate systems. They are the same system operating in opposite directions. And here's the sharper edge of it. What you have been refusing has not gone away. It has been growing in the space your refusal created for it. The thing you do not call back accumulates. The frame you do not turn over accumulates. The number you do not finish dialing accumulates. What you turn away from does not disappear. It waits. And while it waits, it grows. There is a kind of tiredness that comes from holding something at a distance for a very long time. Not the tiredness of work, or of grief, or of too little sleep. The tiredness of sustained management. Of the small, constant effort of keeping something away that keeps trying to arrive. You know this tiredness. It lives just below the ordinary fatigue. It is the weight of what you have been not doing for longer than you remember. Stay with that for a moment. Not to resolve it. Just to let it be the shape it actually is. Without naming it yet, notice what you have been not turning toward. Not the reason. Not the history. Not what it would cost to turn. Just the direction itself. There is a direction you have been not facing. Let that be true for a moment, without needing to do anything about it. Now notice the effort. Refusal is not passive. Somewhere in you, something is working. To keep the distance in place. Notice where that work lies in the body. Not to stop it. Just to feel that it is work. That it costs something. That you have been paying this cost for longer than you perhaps realized. And now, gently, what is on the other side of the refusal? Not what you fear is there. Not the worst version. What is actually there? Underneath the management. Underneath the distance. You do not have to answer. You only have to let the question be present, without immediately filling it. Come back to the room, the objects around you, the surface beneath your hands, your breath ordinary and present. You have not resolved anything. You were not asked to. You were only asked to stay long enough to notice that the refusal has weight and that you have been carrying it. The weight of what is not said is not lighter than the weight of what is. It is simply distributed differently, spread across more days, held more quietly, mistaken more easily for ordinary life. The name is still there. 4 months later, it is still there. The phone did not forget. The number did not expire. This is not an accusation. It is simply a fact. The thing you have been refusing has been waiting with a patience you did not ask of it and did not earn. There is a question that this opens, and it is not the question you think it is. The question is not, why haven't you called? You know why. You have known why for 4 months. The reason has not changed. It is probably still valid in the way that reasons for not doing painful things are usually valid. The question is, what has the not calling done to you? Not to the relationship, not to the other person. To you, to the faculty in you that receives. To the part of you that can hear something difficult and remain intact. To the capacity that would allow you, if you chose to call, to actually hear the answer. Every time you have opened that contact and closed it again, the closing became slightly more automatic. Not because you are weak, because you are human, and humans become what they practice. The jacket is still on the chair. The frame is still face down. And somewhere in you, something that was once open has been practicing closing for 4 months without pause. There is a specific kind of clarity that arrives not through understanding but through exhaustion. You have been managing this for long enough that the management itself has become the problem, not the original thing. The original thing is still there, unchanged. But the structure you built to avoid it has grown so elaborate, so automatic, that you can no longer tell where the avoidance ends and you begin. You are in the moment before. It does not arrive as breakdown or revelation. It arrives as a Tuesday afternoon, a thumb moving by accident, 3 digits typed, and then the hands going still. This is the moment you notice that you have been practicing refusal so long that you have forgotten what you were originally protecting. The thing you were guarding against has long since changed shape, but the guard is still in position. You are defending something that no longer needs the defense you have given it. What comes after is not resolution. It is simply a different quality of stillness. You are no longer pretending the management is invisible. You are no longer calling it wisdom or timing or self-preservation. Or you are sitting with the actual shape of it, 4 months. A name. A frame face down. A jacket that never got hung because hanging it would mean something. This is what it actually is. And that is already different from what it was this morning. She makes the tea and does not finish it. She comes back to the desk. The phone is where she left it, screen up. She picks it up, not to call, not to do anything specific, and looks at the number she started typing. 3 digits. The cursor is gone now. The screen timed out. She types the 3 digits again, then 2 more. Then she stops, sets the phone face down. Not the number, just the phone. But she notices as she does it that this is different from the other times she has set it down. The other times she was moving away from something. This time she is only pausing. She is not ready. She still does not know what she would say. But something in the quality of the not knowing has changed. There is something you have been not receiving. You know what it is? You have known what it is throughout this episode, even when it was not named. It arrived in the form of a name, or a frame turned over, or a direction you have been not facing for longer than feels comfortable to admit. You do not have to receive it today. There is no requirement here. But you can, if you choose, allow this one recognition. The refusal has cost something, and what was refused has not dissolved. It is still present, still available, still capable of being received. If and when you choose to turn toward it, that is not a demand. It is simply what is true. There is a law that does not require belief to operate. It does not care whether you understand it, or whether you agree with it, or whether you were told about it in advance. It operates the way gravity operates, quietly, continuously, without requiring your permission. The law is this: the faculty you do not use weakens. The capacity for reception, for hearing what is difficult, for seeing what you have covered, for remaining open to what arrives, does not stay in reserve, waiting for when you need it. It thins, it narrows, it becomes, over time, less available. This is not punishment. It is not cosmic retribution for the act of protecting yourself. It is simply the structure of what it means to be a being who receives, or does not receive, over time. What you turn away from does not weaken by being turned away from. Only you do. The practice, then, is small, not the phone call, not yet, maybe not ever. That is not the point. The practice is smaller than that and more fundamental. It is this: once today, turn towards something you have been turning away from for long enough to notice that you turned. Not to resolve it, not to speak or act or decide. Just to let it be present in your field of awareness for 30 seconds without the automatic response of closing it back down. The jacket on the chair, the frame on the shelf, the number that was never finished. Pick one. Look at it. Let it be what it is for 30 seconds. That is the whole practice. 30 seconds of not refusing. Repeat it until the faculty remembers what it was made for. She does not call. Not that night, not that week. She is not ready, and she knows it, and she has stopped pretending that she is waiting for readiness to arrive on its own. But the frame is still on the shelf, and tonight, before she goes to sleep, she picks it up. She does not turn it over. She holds it face down for a moment. Then she sets it back, still face down, but differently. What you avoid becomes you, and she is beginning slowly to choose which self that will be. If something in this episode named something you have been carrying, there is another episode that may carry it further. The link is here. One word, one breath, one prayer. Vesper word.